So today, guys, we're going to be reacting to a video by David Wood called Muslim Imam Beaten to Death for Converting to Christianity.
But you'll never, ever hear about it from Western journalists who really want us to believe another Muslim convert to Christianity has been beaten to death in Africa, but you'll never, ever hear about it from Western journalists. Christian Concern reports. Yusuf Kintu, a 41-year-old former Imam of Mecca Mosque in Dolway Island, Mayugi district, was killed on December 7th, 2020 by a Muslim mob.
So for those of you who are watching, I saw this story being shared a lot whenever I searched for Yusuf Kintu or Pastor Andrew Nyanma. But check this out. Here's the interesting thing. The story is actually only being referenced from one or two articles, if not just one news source and one organization, which is ICC, also known as International Christian Concern. Their website is persecution.org, and I actually reached out to them to see if they could get me more details. I haven't received a response so far. Now, let's just take a step back here for a second and kind of go through this article and just think, not even critically, but just ask some few basic questions. Yusuf Kintu, just imagine you're an imam, right? A lot of imams have a lot of social media online. And my question is, why haven't we heard about Yusuf Kintu before this? Or how come, in an even deeper question, how come we haven't even heard of Mecca Mosque in Dolway Island? Just search for the mosque, try to find it. It seems like it doesn't exist. Andrew Nyanma, likewise the same thing. I haven't been able to find much information about him or this church called Full Gospel Church in Dolway. Now, at the bottom, you'll see here, and I'll just actually scroll there, talks about ICC's partner. Okay, so ICC's partner in Uganda said, according to several witnesses, and again, these are just vagaries, a lot of vague information, who's ICC's partner? I did actually reach out again to persecution.org. I emailed them. I'm awaiting a response. I'd love to know more details and why this article is the only news article, and why these names are only being mentioned here. Because frankly speaking, it seems like the names are being made up and the story is being made up. Now, of course, I'm not denying that the article could be true. I'm just wondering why David is referencing this article, why he didn't verify or give more details. Wouldn't that strengthen his case? Instead, what he did is he made a video and he threw out a bunch of different things about Islam and Muslims. What is often known in debate as the machine gun tactic. It's like I attack you with 10 or 20 different points instead of focusing on the first point that I brought up and not letting that sink in. It seems to me that he doesn't want us to think about the initial point that he brought up, which is this news story about this imam, quote unquote imam, being beaten to death. Now, you guys know who are watching this. It takes some credentials to be a pastor or a bishop or a pope or any kind of learned Christian figure or a reverend. Same thing within Islam. You have to have credentials to be an imam. So the more we point fingers at the story and kind of ask basic questions, who was Yusuf Kintu? Was he in fact an imam? Did he actually go to this mosque? Does this mosque actually exist? It seems like there are a lot of missing details. The other question I have for David Wood, more so his followers and his organization, is when was the last time that you saw David Wood point to the persecution of somebody he doesn't like, somebody he doesn't agree with, in particular someone from the Muslim community? The reason why I'm asking if David Wood has ever highlighted the persecution of Muslims is because a lot of Muslims do this. We will not stand for the persecution of Christians. It is against Islam. And I'm sure many of you know, the Quran mentions the people of the book. That doesn't mean that we agree with Christian theology, and we definitely will dialogue and give dawah to Christians. But I just want to show the objectivity here, or the lack of objectivity specifically with David Wood, is he never talks about the criminalization amongst his own community. He only tries to take opportunities at criminalizing Islam when he gets an opportunity to, and it seems like he had a poor choice to cover this article. My other follow-up question, though, is even deeper than that, which is, when was the last time you've seen David Wood confess that he's made a mistake, or admit that he's made a mistake, or apologize for something, or clarify something? I think honesty is pretty important to any person of faith. You might not like Islam, you might disagree with Islam, but I have to tell you Islam as it is, whether you like it or you dislike it. And so my question to David Wood, and my challenge to David Wood is, if you did not verify this news story, are you willing to take it back? Are you willing to clarify? And are you willing to clarify any other mistakes that you've made in the past? And why or why not? We see corporations doing that. We see public figures doing that. We see politicians doing that. It may be difficult in the moment, but in the long term, people will actually respect you more. Why doesn't David Wood clarify these things or admit that he's made a mistake instead of projecting that he never lies? If someone comes up to you today and tells you, I never lie, I've never made a mistake, you obviously will think to yourself, that's a big red flag, that's impossible, and this person is definitely a liar. So that's my last question to David Wood and his followers. If you guys can provide me with some references to this article, or about the persecution of Muslims and whether Christians care about that. And finally, what are the mistakes David has made, if any? And is David Wood or his followers willing to take account for them, or accountability? Thank you.